G'day trendsetters, John with Gravel Cyclist coming to you today with a review of the 3T Exploro Limited gravel bike. Now, if you're a regular visitor to the Gravel Cyclist YouTube channel or gravelcyclist.com website, you'll already have seen my unboxing and features video of this particular bike. However, if you did not catch that video, I'll bring you up to speed real quick on the features of the 3T Exploro Limited. The Exploro was released several years ago and designed by none other than Gerard Vroomen, who I had the pleasure of interviewing at the 2019 Sea Classic on all things gravel. You can check out that interview in the link in the video description below. Gerard has not sat idle since the introduction of the Exploro. He's made several tweaks to the frame, including flat mount disc brakes, but to be honest, it's pretty difficult to make a frame that's already quite sweet even better. According to 3T, the Exploro has changed gravel riding and racing forever, combining road speed and mountain toughness, but more on that later. In this particular guise, the 3T Exploro is shod with the stock wheel set, the 3T Discus 45. 45 referring to the depth of the rims in millimeters, and the rims internally measure 25 millimeters and are tubeless ready to go. The tyres fitted right now are not stock, they are more roadie-centric, being Panaracer Gravel King file tread in 700C by 32, and they are tubeless. But this is not the only wheel set and tyre combination I rode with the 3T Exploro. And these are the other wheel sets I used with the Exploro: the MVG 23 with Panaracer Gravel King SK tyres in 700C by 38mm, and the Envy Bird Spoke wheel set with WTB's Resolute tyres in 700C by 42mm. Either way, you can check out both of these wheel set reviews linked in the video description below. This is a size medium Exploro, and for once, the geometry suits me to a T. Short head tube, spot on top tube length, and due to the drop-down drive side chainstay, good tyre clearance with snappy performance without having to resort to mega long chainstays. Out of the box, this variant ships with a 90mm stem, but I prefer a bit more stretch and substituted for a 110mm stem. Topping off this build is SRAM's red AXS eTap 12-speed wireless electronic drivetrain. In a nutshell, we're looking at flat-mounted hydraulic brakes with 160mm rotors and a double crankset on an Exploro, which in itself is almost unheard of. 2x is my preferred gearing setup because life is too short for compromises with 1x and annoying gaps and a limited range of gears. The Limited has 4633 chainrings, SRAM's red AXS eTap front derailleur, and on the rear, the matching derailleur that features a liquid clutch versus mechanical that differs from other designs. The cassette is SRAM's one-piece 10:33 ratio that provides a low gear of 33x33 or 1:1. The Exploro utilizes what is known as the Gravel Plus standard for tyres, which means that 650B MTB type tyres have virtually the same overall wheel diameter as 700C by 28mm. The down tube on the Exploro is massive and known as Square-O. It measures 50 by 75mm and catches airflow coming off the front tyre. Because a true airfoil shape would be massive, Gerard squared off the tube that keeps much of the aero performance and excellent strength and stiffness, and as a bonus, your water bottles are reasonably well shielded from the wind. Square-O also features on the head tube, seat stays, and seat post. Other features of the frame include 3T's flip-flop cable guide. There are multiple versions of this catering to mechanical and electronic drivetrain designs, or single or double chainrings. At the rear of the bike is the hang-loose derailleur hanger, which is designed to make wheel changes easier, more on that later, and the top-mounted seat post expander. The fork is the 3T Fango Limited with aero tweaks made to the fork legs, including elongated Square-O shapes. Cables are routed internally with flat mount brakes for 140 or 160mm rotors, 12mm through axle, and a really nice Syntace front through axle. The rear features 142mm by 12mm and the same Syntace X12 rear through axle. As an FYI, Fango is the Italian word for mud. The Exploro seat post is unique, featuring two splined interlocking rings. The outer ring features 9.5 degrees and the inner 10 degrees. Once you figure the seat post out, which isn't a big deal, it is possible to adjust your saddle angle in half-degree increments. The post allows for easy horizontal adjustment, and because of the splines, there is no way this post can possibly slip at the head. And finally, the bottom bracket junction is huge, and it is of the BB386 EVO standard. So that's the features covered. How does it ride? Where possible, I like to race the review bikes. Unlike a friendly training ride, you cannot always pick your own line during a race. With that said, I raced the 3T at the Red Clay Ramble in Georgia, Pisgah Monster Cross in North Carolina, and again in Georgia at the Spin the District race. All of these videos are linked in the description below. It's no secret I like a fast bike, at least one that is fast looking, and the 3T fits those requirements and more. With the more part, I mean, there are plenty of people who use the 3T Exploro for bikepacking, which is pretty amazing considering the frame is performance-oriented and stiff. Including those factors, the Exploro is still a versatile bike, although there are no fender or rack mounts on the bike or fork, which may tick some people off. Added versatility comes with the option to mount a bento box on the top tube, or in my case, a Dark Speedworks top tube bag. This bike is very sensitive to tire pressure. Get it wrong and you're in for a very harsh ride. Get it right and you're in for a more comfortable, flat-out ride experience. The Exploro is a bike I'm on the fence about using for mega mileage training rides or races, but it has plenty of success to back it up. Dirty Kansas 200 has been won on this bike. In my experience, I find 100 miles to be about the max that I can deal with riding this bike. Now, I only tested 700C wheels on the Exploro as I don't have a 650B wheel set for SRAM XDR driver, but the Exploro will accept a tyre measuring up to 650B by 54mm, which is quite impressive. Mud clearance is good, and to prove that, I took the Exploro on some muddy fun rides through middle and southern Georgia. The massive BB386 EVO bottom bracket junction is stiff, and I'm doubting anyone with regular abilities is going to flex this thing. It also proved to be trouble-free, no creaking and groaning during the 5 months I've had this bike. Handling, well, this bike is like a rocket ship. To me, it feels just like a high-performance road bike, but one designed to cross over to any road surface. In fact, I used the Exploro exclusively as my road bike for 3 months, swapping wheels twice a week for roadie and gravel duties. These weren't always roadie cruise fest rides. I even took the Exploro several times to the local Hammerhead roadie ride in town and survived all of the attacking, didn't get dropped, and lived to talk about it. It shouldn't be any surprise this bike climbs well. With lighter wheels fitted, the Exploro flies up the climbs and is no doubt handicapped by yours truly. It doesn't matter if you prefer to sit or stand, the Exploro favours both techniques. For descending, this is arguably the fastest feeling gravel bike I've ever ridden, provided the surface isn't too gnarly. It is akin to riding on rails. If you have the skills and confidence, going fast on the Exploro when the road tilts downhill is an absolute blast. Assuming I have the appropriate tyre pressure set, if I rode through a rutted corner at speed, the Exploro can be twitchy and will require close attention from the rider. But overall, the bike is stable and would benefit a rider with moderate to good experience on gravel. Former roadie types will absolutely love the Exploro. Seriously gnarly and rocky descents would likely be improved with 650B wheels and bigger tyres, but I was happy with how it rode, considering the bike likely wasn't designed with some of this madness in mind. I'm a fan of its quick steering, which isn't for everyone. The grip set and cockpit parts of the Exploro are absolutely spot on. Whilst I did swap to a longer stem, admittedly not a 3T stem, the 3T Super Ergo carbon handlebars are awesome. They're comfortable without being stiff and no flare, and the seat post didn't budge in any way during the review period. I didn't use the stock saddle. There's nothing wrong with the stock saddle, but I did use the Ergon SR Pro men's saddle, which I'll be posting in a separate review. 3T haven't messed about with this spec on this bike. The SRAM Red AXS eTap system is absolutely primo. It never missed a beat, but I do wish SRAM would make a 10:36 or 11:36 cassette. There are many times when the 1:1 gear ratio just doesn't cut it, but that isn't a fault of 3T. I also installed a pair of blip shifters beneath the handlebar tape, which made the shifting experience even better. The one thing that drove me up the wall on the Exploro is the hang loose derailleur hanger. Now, this system is mostly designed for a one-by mechanical derailleur with a clutch that you're meant to disengage when you remove the wheel. When you start riding with a wireless SRAM or Di2 derailleur, regardless of clutch, there is no mechanical cable to keep the derailleur in place, as Gerard Vroomen demonstrates in his hang loose video. Removing the rear through bolt results in the hanger breaking away from the frame and your derailleur ends up in the dirt. Less than helpful. I've swapped wheels on this bike at least 30 times, so I've gotten a technique figured out, but it is still annoying. I wish 3T would just keep the hanger bolted to the frame. That issue aside, I like this bike a lot. I cannot say if the frame's aerodynamic features are doing anything at gravel speeds, but placebo is strong, and if you feel fast, you ride fast. I love the road bike feel of the Exploro. The geometry is awesome for me. It lends itself to fast training rides or trying to hang about in the front group of a gravel race. But it can also cruise along well, but tyre pressure is critical on this bike. The Exploro isn't for everyone, but I know of plenty of riders who are extremely happy with this bike, including yours truly. As this is the top tier Exploro Limited 2x with SRAM red AXS eTap, stock high zoot wheels and so on, this is not a cheap bike at just shy of $10,000 US. But $10,000 can buy you an awful lot of happiness, and I really do not want to return this bike. So there you have it, the 3-tier Exploro Limited with SRAM red AXS eTap. I realise at the time of this video there's a ton of gravel bike options available on the market today, so I hope you found this review to be somewhat helpful and insightful in helping you make a purchase decision. Thank you for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the Gravel Cyclist YouTube channel, and don't forget to click the bell button to be notified of future videos as they appear on the channel. I'll see you in the next video.